everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to share with you my summer TBR. I don't do monthly TBRs anymore because I have just learned I'm a mood reader. I like to read new releases, but sometimes I don't want to read those. I just want to read whatever I want to. And whenever I do TBRs monthly, I feel like I'm just put myself in a box, which I shouldn't. So that's why I don't do them anymore. But I like to do them every few months or so just to tell you what books that are on my radar that I want to read. Will I read? It's up in the air. So long list of books I want to read in these next few months, and let me tell you, the summer releases game is strong. I probably will be reading predominantly new releases, which I'm not mad about because there's some good ones. Let me tell you, summer anticipated releases video out that there's just so much that's coming out that I'm very excited for. So I'm going to start with those because I'm just mostly excited about those. First up, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is her newest book, and I'm going to be honest with you. These new releases, I'm not going to tell you what they're about because I honestly have no clue. I believe this one by Ali Hazelwood, it's about a girl that's super smart with science and meets a guy, and that's all I know. I enjoy her books. This one is probably lower on my radar because I didn't love her past one as much, and I honestly just feel so kind of stupid when I read them because I am not scientific at all. Like that, it doesn't interest me. I'm not good at it, so when I have to read sciencey stuff, it just messes with my brain. But I'm excited to read it, and I will probably read it this summer. Only One Left by Riley Sager. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. So this one, again, I don't know much about because I want to go into this one with not any expectations because I do love Riley Sager books. His last one, I loved. Easily my least favorite book I've ever read by him. But this one, I believe it's about this house on a cliff and a girl that's nannying. I could be 1000% wrong. I probably am. But either way, the cover, chef's kiss. Hopefully the contents will match my excitement for the actual book. I'm so excited for it, but who knows. Then we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one the whole plot reminds me of The Lake House. Is that the right movie? With Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, where they fall in love and they live in the same house, but it's like he's like 10 years in the past or something, and they communicate with letters to the mailbox. Something like that. This one's very reminiscent to that because it's about 7 years, like they're in the same house, they fall in love, but they're in different timelines. It sounds really bizarre, but I really love The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, so I have really high hopes for this one. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, but we'll have to see. It's interesting to say the least, for sure. Like, I don't know how it's going to be feasible falling in love with somebody in the same house, but 7 years past. Like, I physically, mentally cannot wrap my head around it. Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is a kind of like Ashley Poston's earlier book, The Dead Romantics. We have a character that's a ghostwriter for an author, and the romance author has no clue what he's doing, and I think he teaches her things in the bedroom and she teaches him how to write or something of that regard. Like I said, if you've come here for like really crucial information about books, I'm sorry, I'll link them all down below. But either way, I really enjoy Rachel Lynn Solomon's romance books. A lot of times, if I enjoy the author's writings, I don't care what it's about, I'll read it. We have the newest release from Samantha Downing, A Twisted Love Story. I have read 3 of her books, enjoyed 2 of them, didn't like her last one, but this one sounds interesting. It's about a marriage that it's like everything's picture perfect, or is it? Is there murder? You know, you don't know anything. So I'm very excited for this one. Have very, very high hopes because I enjoy this author so much. Then we have Dark Corners by Megan Golden. This is the sequel kind of to her book that I love, The Night Swim. So in that book, we follow a character named Rachel who has her own podcast, and this follows also Rachel as she goes into another kind of podcast story. Again, I'm not sure 100% what this one is about. It's about the FBI. They reach a wall in this investigation, so they turn to Rachel for her podcast help. And basically, Rachel is forced to confront the very real dangers that lurk in the dark corners of the internet. So I'm very excited for that one because I love The Night Swim, and I mostly like Megan Golden's work. And then we have one that it just seems like it's going to be a good time. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but I think I'll have a fun time reading it. And it's called My Roommate is a Vampire. I forgot who it's by. And it's literally about this woman that, you know, you know, she's kind of down out in her luck about finding a roommate and doing things, and then she gets an ad to move in with this guy, and so she's like, it's a great deal, I'm gonna do it, and she thinks that he's a vampire. Let me see if I can find out exactly what it says. Her roommate is Frederick. He sleeps all day, is out all night, and talks like he walked out of a Regency romance novel. He also leaves Cassie heart-melting notes around the apartment, cares about her art, and asks about her day. But when Cassie finds bags of bloods in the fridge that definitely weren't there earlier, Frederick has to come clean. His roommate is a vampire, and he has a proposition for her. Like, you know, those are like my, you know, words, the key words that just jump out at me. If this vampire, like, done. Like, I love vampires. I'll read anything with vampires. I'm just, this one sounds fun, so I'm really excited for it. The newest book from Alice Feeney, Good Girl, Bad Girl, which again, I don't know anything about. 20 years after a baby is stolen from her stroller. Oh crap. I don't know if can I read this? A woman is murdered in a care home. 2 crimes are somehow linked, and a good bad girl may be the key to discovering the truth. Ooh, intriguing. I love Alice Feeney, so I'm excited for this one. And the last new release I have on my list is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. She writes a lot of kind of women's fiction-y romance books that I love. This one, again, I don't know much about. It's about a character named Sadie. She gets into a car accident, I believe, and she wakes up and she has a new diagnosis of a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. She can see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. Imagine trying to read a book upside down in another language. This is her new reality. And so I think she has to deal with that. So it sounds interesting. So those are the new releases that I'm most excited for. That's not even all the new releases that I'm planning to really read, but those are the ones that I know for sure I will be getting to, without the exception of Love Theoretically. That one may be iffy or not. So I have some other books that are older, not older, but you get what I'm saying, that are not new releases that I want to check out. The first one being The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Maria Zapata. I have heard a lot about this author. I'm trying to get more into the indie romance game, and more indie authors are getting like signed with publishing houses, which I'm so excited for, and this one recently did, and I actually just got a copy of On NetGuy, so I'm so excited to read it. I want to read that by her. I want to read All Roads Lead Here, and I believe From Luca with Love. They all sound really good, but I want to start with The Wall of Winnipeg. And Me, because everyone talks about it, so I'm very excited for that one, so that's a definite for me. Another one is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This one is an adult This one is a historical fiction taking place in 1960s. It's about a character named Elizabeth who's like a scientist, and she's doing awesome, and then she gets pregnant, and then she ends up being a single mom, and somehow she gets to be like this, have the most popular like cooking show, and she's kind of daring to be different. She's teaching women how to cook, and she's daring them to change the status quo, which is in the 60s, which is a pretty big deal. So I'm excited for this one, apprehensive a little bit because I don't do the best with historical books, so we'll have to see, but I definitely plan to read it. As well as Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I've heard a lot about this, and rom-coms are my jam. That's my favorite movie genre. 9 times out of 10, you will find me watching a rom-com I love and adore. They are just my comfort, everything. So for a book to be titled rom-com or romantic comedy, it better deliver. This one, I believe, is about a character that's a sketch writer for Saturday Night Live, and she gets into a relationship with, like, I don't know, like Justin Timberlake or something like that, or he used to be in a boy band, and they're now an actor or a musician. You know how it goes, and I think it's about that. So it sounds really cute, and I'm really excited for it, and your title better live up. A lot of expectations. Then we have The Maid's Diary by Loreth Ann White, which I have read one other book from her before, enjoyed it. This one's kind of similar to the one that's going around very much so, called The Maid by Frida McFadden, I believe. I read one of her books before, didn't love it, so I want to try this one out. And it says she has more than the keys to her client's house, she has their secrets. So I'm guessing it's about a maid. She finds things she shouldn't have. Murder. You get the gist. Also, one that's kind of always on my mind is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This one I've heard nothing but amazing things about. Actually, I have another book of hers on NetGuy that I want to read called The Kingmaker. and I think I haven't gotten them yet because her books are amazing and romantic, but also very, very heavy. So I have to be in the right headspace for that, and I feel like I never am, so I'm going to have to push myself to do it. And I know if I do, I'll probably fall in love with this book because everyone does. It's about a married couple that, you know, decides that they are just not good for each other. So they divorce. They have kids. So they're still very much in each other's lives. So the more, you know, they get their lives entangled, the more maybe they kind of revisit their love. And it's just a really intense thing. It's about hope and healing and what it truly means to love for a lifetime. Sounds really interesting. And the last book I would love to read. Will I get to it? I don't know. But freaking the internet is hyping this book up like nobody's freaking business. And that is Fourth Wing by, I don't even know who the author is, honestly. This book, like, power of social media, man, because you can't find a copy of this anywhere. Like, it is, I think it's a young adult. No, not a young adult. It's an adult, maybe new adult book about like dragon riders, and it sounds really interesting, and so I wanted to check it out. And man, everybody and their mother, the grandmother, grandfather, uncle, brother, cousin is reading this book because it's out of stock everywhere, and I can't fathom paying $15 for a Kindle copy because I'm like, if I'm paying $15, I want the actual book, okay? So I'm waiting for that. Will it ever be available again in store or online? That doesn't take a month to ship? I don't know, but I want to check it out to see if all the hype is worth it. I did a whole series, I did a whole video this year called TikTok Books, Are They Worth the Hype? This one is being hyped up to nobody's business, so I want to see, is it worth all this hype and making the whole internet buy it? I bet the author is happy as can be because of it, and I'm happy for her because that is amazing. Either way, those are all the books, probably a lot more that I'm not even mentioning, that I would like to read in these next few months for summer. Summertime's the usual really good reading time for me, but, you know, I say that, but is it really? 2 kids reading, what's that, you know? It's hard. But either way, I would love to know if you've heard any of these books, if you're excited about them as I am, if you've read any of them, please let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.